In this review, we explore two influential autobiographical works, The Audacity of Hope by Barack Obama and Personal History by Katharine Graham. Both books delve into the personal journeys of two iconic figures, offering insights into the worlds of politics and media, respectively. Obama's The Audacity of Hope presents a thoughtful reflection on American politics, democracy, and the values that shaped his vision as a leader, while Graham's personal history chronicles her life as the publisher of the Washington Post, providing a candid account of her rise to power and the challenges she faced. Together, these works offer unique perspectives on leadership, resilience, and the forces that shape public life in America. Obama and Graham provide readers with a deeper understanding of their legacies and the historical context in which they operated. Barack Obama's The Audacity of Hope is an eloquent and thoughtful meditation on American politics, democracy, and the values that underpin the American dream. Written in 2006, before he became the 44th President of the United States, the book serves as a window into Obama's worldview, presenting his vision for a more hopeful, inclusive, and unified America. Through a blend of personal anecdotes, political analysis, and reflections on the country's future, Obama crafts a narrative that is both deeply personal and broadly philosophical. At its core, The Audacity of Hope is Obama's call for a politics of empathy and reconciliation. The title itself, borrowed from one of his earlier speeches, signals his belief in the power of optimism and the need to bridge divides. Obama advocates for bipartisanship, urging politicians and citizens alike to rise above ideological silos. He contrasts this hope with the stark reality of increasing polarization in American politics, a problem he recognizes as damaging to the country's progress. Rather than simply lamenting this division, Obama offers pathways toward consensus, emphasizing the need for pragmatic solutions rooted in shared values. His tone throughout the book is one of balance. While he critiques both Democrats and Republicans, he refuses to demonize either side. Instead, he highlights the necessity of compromise, arguing that productive governance can only emerge from respectful dialogue. This perspective is refreshing, particularly in today's deeply divided political climate. Obama's belief in the potential for unity feels both idealistic and pragmatic, grounded in his experiences as a community organizer, state legislator, and U.S. senator. One of the most compelling aspects of The Audacity of Hope is its personal nature. Obama does not shy away from discussing his own journey, sharing stories from his childhood, his struggles with identity, and his early political career. These reflections offer readers a glimpse into the man behind the politician, revealing the internal debates and questions that shaped his political philosophy. Obama speaks candidly about his multiracial background and the challenges he faced navigating race in America. His discussion on race is both introspective and analytical, acknowledging the complexities of being a black man in a predominantly white political space. Rather than offering simple solutions, he engages with the nuance of racial issues, making it clear that America's struggles with race are far from resolved, but must be met with hope and perseverance. Family is another key theme in the book. Obama shares his deep connection with his wife Michelle and their daughters, offering insight into how his role as a father and husband influences his political life. He discusses the sacrifices of public service and the toll it can take on family life, but he also reflects on the grounding force his family provides. This candidness humanizes him, making him relatable beyond his political persona. The Audacity of Hope also serves as a platform for Obama's broader policy agenda. He addresses a wide range of issues from healthcare and education to foreign policy and the economy. Obama critiques the growing income inequality in America and outlines the need for reforms that empower the middle class. He discusses the importance of affordable health care, a subject that would become central to his presidency with the passage of the Affordable Care Act. His views on education emphasize the need for equal access and the role of government in providing quality public education as a cornerstone of democracy. On foreign policy, Obama's approach is pragmatic and thoughtful. He acknowledges the need for America to lead on the global stage, but cautions against unilateral action and the dangers of military overreach. He advocates for diplomacy, multilateralism, and building alliances, perspectives that would later define much of his foreign policy during his presidency. Throughout the book, Obama's approach to policy is grounded in a desire to restore faith in government. He argues that a government, when functioning properly, can be a force for good, a sentiment that contrasts with the prevailing cynicism of the time. However, he is not naive to the challenges of governance, recognizing the influence of special interests, money in politics, and the complexity of enacting meaningful reforms. His discussions on these topics reflect both his optimism and his realism. Obama's writing style in The Audacity of Hope is one of its greatest strengths. His prose is fluid, engaging, and reflective, balancing policy discussion with personal narrative. He avoids dense policy jargon, instead presenting complex issues in a way that is accessible to a broad audience. His rhetorical skill, honed through years of public speaking and legal training, shines throughout the book. Obama has the rare ability to inspire through words, and this talent is evident on every page. In conclusion, The Audacity of Hope is a powerful and insightful exploration of politics, policy, and personal conviction. Barack Obama's ability to weave together his own experiences with broader political commentary makes the book both intimate and far-reaching. His optimism, grounded in realism, offers a vision of America that is hopeful yet aware of the challenges that lie ahead. For readers interested in understanding the political philosophy of one of the most significant figures of the 21st century, The Audacity of Hope is essential reading. Personal History by Katharine Graham is a memoir of extraordinary depth and insight, providing a personal account of one woman's journey from a life of privilege and personal challenges to becoming one of the most powerful figures in American journalism. Published in 1997, the book won the Pulitzer Prize for Biography in 1998, and for good reason. Graham's memoir is not only the story of her rise to prominence as the publisher of the Washington Post, but also a historical record of critical moments in U.S. politics, journalism, and society during the second half of the 20th century. Through her candid and unflinching narrative, Graham provides readers with a rare glimpse into both her private world and the pivotal events that defined her era. Born into a wealthy and prominent family, Katharine Graham grew up in a world of privilege. Her father, Eugene Meyer, was a successful financier who purchased the Washington Post in 1933. Despite this background, Graham's early years were marked by feelings of insecurity and self-doubt, themes that resonate throughout her memoir. She candidly describes her complex relationship with her parents, particularly her mother, Agnes Meyer, a strong-willed and often domineering figure. Graham's early insecurities were compounded by societal expectations for women at the time, which largely confined them to roles as wives and mothers, regardless of their talents or ambitions. Graham's marriage to Philip Graham, a brilliant but troubled man, brought both joy and hardship into her life. When her father handed control of the Washington Post to Philip in 1946, Katharine took a back seat, focusing on supporting her husband and raising their children. This period was marked by personal sacrifice and an often overlooked role in shaping the newspaper's direction. However, her world was turned upside down when Philip's struggles with mental illness culminated in his tragic suicide in 1963. In the wake of his death, Graham faced the daunting task of taking over the newspaper, a responsibility for which she felt unprepared but was determined to undertake. One of the most compelling elements of personal history is Katharine Graham's account of her own transformation. In the wake of her husband's death, she found herself at the helm of the Washington Post during a time when women were rarely seen in leadership roles, especially in industries as competitive and male-dominated as publishing. Her self-doubt and lack of confidence are recurring themes in the early parts of the book, but as her story unfolds, so does her evolution into a powerful and respected leader. Graham describes the difficulties she faced as a woman in power, from being underestimated by her male colleagues to navigating a business world that was often dismissive of her capabilities. Yet, through sheer determination and an ability to learn quickly, she gained the respect of her peers and successfully led the newspaper through some of its most critical moments. Her growth from a hesitant and insecure widow to a decisive and confident publisher is inspiring and forms the heart of the memoir. Graham's stewardship of the Washington Post coincided with some of the most significant political events in modern American history, and her memoir provides an insider's view of how the newspaper navigated these turbulent times. Two events in particular stand out: the publication of the Pentagon Papers and the Watergate scandal. In 1971, the Washington Post faced one of its greatest challenges when it decided to publish the Pentagon Papers, a classified government report detailing the United States' involvement in Vietnam. Graham's decision to stand by her editors and reporters, despite the threat of legal action from the Nixon administration, was a defining moment in her career. The publication of the Pentagon Papers marked a turning point for the newspaper, establishing it as a serious and courageous institution willing to take on the government in the name of public interest. The Watergate scandal, which followed shortly after, cemented Graham's legacy as a champion of press freedom. The Washington Post's investigative reporting, led by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, played a pivotal role in uncovering the corruption that eventually led to President Nixon's resignation. Graham's unwavering support for her reporters, despite enormous political pressure, demonstrated her commitment to journalistic integrity and the essential role of a free press in a democracy. Her memoir recounts the tense moments when the future of both the newspaper and the nation's trust in its government were at stake. While personal history is a rich exploration of the professional and political world, it is also deeply personal. Graham is unflinchingly honest about her own struggles, from her battle with self-esteem to her painful experiences as a wife and mother. She reflects on her husband's mental illness with remarkable candor, revealing the emotional toll it took on her and their family. Graham also confronts her own role in enabling Philip's behavior, grappling with feelings of guilt and confusion in the aftermath of his suicide. Moreover, the book offers a poignant exploration of gender roles and the limitations placed on women in mid-20th century America. Graham acknowledges the barriers she faced as a woman in a male-dominated industry, but also reflects on the privilege she enjoyed due to her family's wealth and influence. She does not portray herself as a feminist icon, but her story is one of perseverance in the face of gendered obstacles. In many ways, her ascent to power is emblematic of the broader changes occurring in American society at the time, as more women began to take on leadership roles in public life. By the end of the book, it becomes clear that Graham's legacy extends far beyond her personal achievements. Under her leadership, the Washington Post became one of the most respected newspapers in the world, setting a standard for journalistic excellence and integrity. Graham's role in the Pentagon Papers and Watergate scandals solidified her place in history, but her greatest contribution may be her demonstration of the power of resilience and determination. Conclusion. Personal History is a remarkable memoir that offers readers a window into the life of one of the most influential women of the 20th century. Katharine Graham's journey from a self-doubting woman to a powerful leader in journalism is both inspiring and instructive. Her insights into the challenges of leadership, the role of the press in a democracy, and the evolving status of women in society make the book a valuable contribution to both history and personal narrative. For anyone interested in journalism, politics, or the history of women in leadership, Personal History is essential reading. If you made it this far, drop a 100% in the comments and hit that subscribe and like button. Thanks for watching.